Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit tre.radio.
6th of October 2025, you're listening to TRE Talk Radio Europe. Good morning to Mark Hanbidge. Good morning, Mark. How are you, my friend?
I can't complain. It's been a good weekend of sports.
Absolutely has, as always. And Derby County getting a draw. Let's just get that one out of the way right now. We're getting lots of draws at the moment, but at least we're getting points and we're not losing. So just something to gel together. Now, let's talk about big upset in the La Liga. Barcelona. Was it 5-1 or 4-1? I can't remember.
It was 4-1. I mean, they can't say the same thing about picking up points in Sevilla. But listen, it's the first defeat of the season, so it's not a catastrophe. But it's certainly not ideal because this is their first loss against Sevilla, I think, since 2015.
Oh wow!
It's been about 10 years. So that's why it's sort of headline news that Sevilla won this, and they're not a bad side at all. I mean, it's not like they've been in the trenches for 10 years. I mean, they've been to continental finals. They've won trophies, but
and they're like
really
6th or 7th in the league, I think. So they're up there, thereabouts, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a good side, but I guess because Barcelona have just been, so good for so long, even during their bad periods. I mean, they're still cracking top four.
Yeah.
So, but really, it was just defensive fragilities for Barcelona. A lot of cracks in their back line, and Sevilla just
opened them up.
Really, they gained a lot of momentum. They had a tactic and a plan, and they executed it perfectly. And obviously, there's a lot of news against Barcelona right now about between them and the Spanish Federation about overusing players. Whether it's Barcelona's responsibility to rest them, whether it's the national teams. So there's just a lot going on there, and it's going to tighten up the title fight for sure.
And Real Madrid capitalising over the weekend on that because they got a win, didn't they? So.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't really rely on Real Madrid to lose. They're a tight team, and Xabi Alonso is still getting used to it. He's still adjusting. Yeah. But as far as settling in goes, he's settled in fairly fast.
Yeah, he certainly has. And I mean, I think they had a loss, was it last week or the week before, Real Madrid. It's going to happen, isn't it? These top teams, Liverpool was seen in the UK, that happening there. So it does happen. But I think it's always a test how they respond in the next match is the massive thing there. International break, of course. Let's go to the Premier League. Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest, and apparently it didn't go too well for Big Ange.
No. I wouldn't want to be in his kitchen right now because I reckon it's fairly hot. Yes. It's 7 matches in and still without a win. That's not how you want to start your season. He might even get to his second year, which his claim is he always does better in the second year. But I don't know if he's going to get there. No. It was fairly solid for Newcastle. They had 2 stunning strikes and a penalty in there, so really they didn't really look incorrect.
And Nottingham Forest owner says that they were being talks with Ange this morning or throughout this, probably at some point today. I'd love to be a fly on the wall on that one, wouldn't you? Yeah,
it's difficult because I don't think Ange is really responsible for the mess that's going on at Forest. Sacking your manager at the start of not even just at the start, but 4 or 5 weeks into the season. Just isn't a wise thing to do because you're taking one manager in Nuno who's sort of traditional. He likes to play the proper English game of possession with a few long balls, and then taking kind of Ange, who's sort of this fusion of kind of a pressing high line, and the players have to kind of relearn that whole choreography again, and they have to readjust to it. So it's not easy for any cap. It's not easy for Ange to come into the most competitive league in the world and do this, and it's not easy for the players to respond to what he wants right away.
And losing a great manager, and even West Ham, although they got beat at the weekend with Nuno Espirito, his second match is against Arsenal. Arsenal were just on the game, but I was reading the London Standard, and they were saying lots of reasons to be kind of positive about West Ham, even in that performance as well. So, I just wonder whether rue the day that they, for whatever relationship issue, whatever it was, broke down with Nuno, that he'll go on and probably keep West Ham in the Premier League. That's what he'll be hoping to do, and we'll see if Forest are struggling or not. It's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out.
Yeah, I think if Forest do seep into a situation where the relegation is a legitimate threat, I don't think Ange is going to stay there. And we've seen that quite a few times where teams can, if they choose the right moment and the right man, they can stop that ship from sinking. Gary O'Neill with Wolves comes into mind.
Yeah.
So listen, it's a tough break for Forest fans, but it is quite positive for West Ham. I saw that match where Arsenal beat them. It was a stunning goal by Declan Rice. There's no debating that. And then of course Saka got his 100th club goal with a penalty. It was definitely defiant, but it wasn't too negative for West Ham, who are currently turning that ship. 3 or 4 weeks ago, we would have said this scoreline might be 4 or 5-0. The fact that it's 2-0 and they had some moments in the match was really important for them.
Okay, we've been talking a lot about Arsenal, of course, title contenders. Not so much talk about Manchester City yet. They are right up there in the mix now, aren't they? They're 3 points off the top. They've had a good run now, and it just seems to be working for them. And, when you got your top goal scorer, okay, I think they would have liked a couple more goals at the weekend, just, and maybe a couple more players on that list. But Haaland is on fire right now. He
is, and this is a matchup that I think a lot of people might have overlooked because it's not the most exciting on paper. It should just be a fairly simple outcome. But I really like Brentford. I'm a really big fan of Keith Andrews. I think he's got Brentford playing good football. They're a hard team to score against. And I think that highlights Haaland's veracity. I saw that goal and I was amazed how he's pushing off 2 defenders. And in one of the most awkward angles you can ask for, blasted past Kelleher. I was really impressed with that goal. And I think it just highlights how lucky City are. I wouldn't even be luck, but it's just how fortunate they are to have Haaland and a player who can just score no matter who's behind them. Right,
I'm going to let you choose, although I would be tempted to go for Liverpool because of timings. We are a little bit against it this morning. Shall we do Liverpool-Chelsea one more, then we'll head off to the F1?
Yeah, this is an important match because I think a lot of Liverpool fans are going into, the red zone and thinking, oh, this is the worst. But what we have to remember is it's just 3 matches. Obviously it's Palace, Galatasaray, and Chelsea. But you're in a really great position. You're still on top of the table, and you're still integrating.
I don't think they are they?
Aren't they?
No, I think Arsenal are top now. I'm sure they are. You carry on. I'll just double check for you.
They're still integrating 3 of their most expensive players ever. So I don't think it's a travesty. I do think there's some stuff for Liverpool management to worry about, which is the fact that what they're doing last season isn't as effective as it was because defensively they were solid last season, but defensively, a lot of their defense happened in the opposition's third instead of their own third, like the forwards were constantly pressing. And this Liverpool have been easier to play against this season because those forwards that they had last season were obviously exchanged out with who they bought during the summer window.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of them integrating into the team better. I think Salah is definitely missing Trent in his passes still. And Wirtz has a bit of work to do, but I haven't been
I'm not
overly disappointed. I don't think he's played great, but I don't think there's a lot to worry about either.
Top of the tree is Arsenal on 16 points. Liverpool 1 point behind on 15 points in second place. Tottenham 14, Bournemouth 14, Man City 13, Crystal Palace 12 after that draw. Was it a draw or did they lose against Everton? I can't remember.
Who's this?
Palace.
It was a draw. Yeah, it was 1-0.
No, 2. I'm getting 2-1 here.
2-1. Yeah. 2-1.
Which is a bit of an unlikely. I thought it was. I had that done as a draw actually, and I saw it as a draw for quite a long time. I think
it was 96 to minute that Grealish scored.
So we can be forgiven for that for getting it wrong, can't we? Anyway, so within that top 6 places, it's 12 to 16 is the
very
points.
Tight.
Yeah,
it's very tight, but. As far as Liverpool are concerned, they have time to recorrect the ship, and I'd be more worried if this was stuff that was happening in December or January. But Arsenal have looked equally as vulnerable at stages and matches. So I'm still positive for Liverpool. Obviously, Arsenal are my pick for who I think is going to win. But I've seen like a lot of Liverpool fan media melting down over this, and I just don't think that's the appropriate reaction.
You really want to worry when you end up supporting Derby County, mate, I tell you. But 10 seconds on Manchester United.
It was a solid win. It's going to ease the pressure on Amorim, but it's not. It's not what I think everyone's making it out to be, but it's a solid win.
Let's not get too carried away. Right, okay. Formula One Singapore roundup, and please, Mark, thank you.
Yeah, well, we saw George Russell win, which was a nice change. Obviously, he's a great driver. Verstappen came in second. And then the big bust-up was between Norris and Piastri. I think it was on turn 3, the left-hander, where when Norris was trying to avoid Verstappen, he bounced off Verstappen into Piastri, and in the team's bid to keep everything fair, I guess they just kind of let Norris keep the position, and Piastri came over the radio and was sort of devastated by this. Well, not devastated, but just thought it was really unfair. So even when they were celebrating their Constructors' Championship, which McLaren have won, and they won, defiantly, and there are still a lot of questions over, hey, what's going on here? Because now I think Piastri, the gap is 22 points. So, every single point matters in the last 2 races. And compared to where they were in the first half of the season, they've underperformed. So the pressure's sort of getting on to them. And then there's obviously Max Verstappen, who's 41 points behind Oscar, and is sort of, I guess, really putting the pressure on. But he didn't have a great race in Singapore, not through his own fault. The car faced a lot of understeer and sort of technical issues, and he had this unique description as it was described as driving with one hand behind his back, which Verstappen always has.
Unique like some of the Spanish drivers on the coast, I think, down here. Sorry, any driver on the coast down here.
Yeah. So, but overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good race. We saw Alonso for Aston Martin get into 7th, which was just really fun. I'm sure it was fun for Spanish fans as well. And I'm always happy to see Ollie Behrman do well for Haas, and he came 9th, and then Carlos Sainz for Williams came 10th. So it was double points for the Spanish drivers, which I'm sure makes a lot of people happy.
How many more Grand Prix have got left now? Just a few more. I'll put you on the spot there.
This is the 18th round, so I think there's 7 or 6 left.
Yeah.
But there's pressure on McLaren now. There's a lot of pressure coming their way.
Yeah. Okay. Now we've got about a minute, Mark. We'll give you more time next week. We're a little bit tight this morning. Mm-hmm. We've got UFC. Tell us more.
Yeah. So UFC 320 was an exciting lineup between Pereira and Ankalaev for the light heavyweight title, and Pereira was fairly aggressive in that first round. He got the knockout. I thought he was dominant. It was precision in his striking game, and a lot of good fight IQ from his side. And he ended it early, and really Ankalaev sort of struggled to get into the fight. But listen, I think a lot of people doubted Pereira. It's been a quiet few months. A lot of people were saying, maybe he's not the fighter he was. Yeah. And at UFC 320, he showed that he still is. Absolutely. Well done to him. Mark, and well done to you. Thank you as always for bringing us up to the latest sports stuff going on. There's so much going on. We can't cover all of it. We can't cover all the football matches. We probably missed your team out. But that's just the nature of it all, really. But thank you very much, Mark. We'll speak to you next week, buddy. Have a good one. Thank you.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this program, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit tre.radio.